Welcome to our class. Today we are going to look at how we can calculate the variances and the covariance and the standard deviations. Now we can have a sample with two variables which is x and y, as our example is here. We have this is a sample of a size of 10 with a variable x and y. So we are going to look at the variance of x, the variance of y, covariance of x and y, the standard deviation of x and the standard deviation of y. We understand that the standard deviation of x is simply the square root of the variance of x, and the standard deviation of y is simply the variance, the square root of the variance of y. And these are the formulas which we are going to use. Now let's start the journey. And now we need to calculate first the x bar. We need to calculate first the x bar and the y bar. Simply the x bar and y bars are the means of x and y's. So this is what we are going to do. Let's calculate let's calculate their averages. This is what we are going to get. After calculating the average, these are the averages of x and y. These are averages of x and y. So what we are going to do is now to calculate the xi minus x bar squared. So here let's write xi minus x bar, and then we are going to square it. So to take xi is the value here. So we have to start with an is equal sign so that the Excel may read it as a formula. So start with is equal sign, then click xi number 1. Then now we are going to minus, click minus sign, minus the x bar, then close the bracket. After closing the bracket, what you are going to do, it is to find the mean. It is to find the mean, because the moment you click enter, when you click enter, it has calculated the xi minus x bar. But the moment we want to drag that it may repeat the formula, it will calculate the xi. Just let me show you. It has calculated the second value of xi, and it has moved to the second to the second the cell downward. So what we are supposed to do, so that we may avoid this mistake, it is to find the mean, the B12. You find it by using the dollar signs in between the B. This is what you are going to do. And now click enter. When you have clicked the enter, it has calculated the xi minus x bar, then drag so that it may repeat the same formula to the other cells. Okay, it seems this we have not indicated, we have not squared it. Please insert that icon of bar to power 2 of power 2, sorry, of power 2 exactly. Then you click enter. After clicking enter, you need to drag. It is true. Now this is our xi minus x bar. Now what we want to do, it is the summation, because we have to find the summation so that we may divide by the sample size. So now we find the summation. We have sum. This is the summation. Sum of it is the summation. So now what we are going to do, it is to calculate the variance. If we want to calculate the variance, variance, let's just write the variance of x is equals, now click is equal sign, then select the summations of xi minus x bar squared, that one, then divide slash the sample size, which is 10. We know that it is 10, that the sample size is 10, so you already just write 10, click enter. Now this is the variance of x. Now the standard deviation of x is start with the is equal sign, write the square root, sq, select the square root, double click, square root of the variance, that is our variance, then close the bracket and click enter. That is the standard deviation, of x. Now we want to continue with the same formula to y. What we are going to do, it is to calculate the x, the y, the yi. It is to calculate the yi minus yi minus yi minus y minus y bar squared. Then we are going to repeat the same procedure as we have done for x. So what we are going to do, start is still with this equal sign, click y, the first value of y minus the bar of the y bar, then close the bracket. After closing the bracket, then put power 2 because it's squared. Then remember to bind the c by using the dollar sign in your keyboard. Then click enter. That is the y bar, the y minus y bar squared. Then drag so that it may repeat the same formula to the others, to the other samples, to the other units. Then it has done so. So what you are going to do, it is now to find the summation of the same, find the outer sum. Now what we want now to calculate is the variance. It is the variance of y, which is given by the start with is equal sign there, then select the summations of that yi minus y bar, then divide by the sample size, which is 10, and click enter. Now the standard deviation of y is given by the square root. Start with the equal sign, please. The square root of which number? This number of our variance here, and click close the bracket, then click enter. That is the standard deviation. Now we want to calculate the covariance. We want to calculate the covariance, which is our last step here. Now the covariance is given by this formula. So this is what we are going to do. Let's write the formula here. The formula goes by y bar. It is given by xi minus x bar you need to close that bracket and still multiply by yi minus y bar, then close the bracket. Okay, so here we go. Click the is equal sign, then select the first value of xi. First open the bracket. After clicking the first value of xi, minus is mean. Okay, remember to bind the mean. then close the bracket, then multiply. Look at the sign for multiplication, it is the star. Then open the bracket, click yi, minus its mean. Remember to bind it. Then close the bracket and click enter. It has done so. Now what we are going to do, drag the formula to the other units. It has done so. So what we are going to do, it is now the summation of this of all that deviations sum. Then what we are going to calculate now is the variance. This is a covariance of xy, which is given by. Now let's calculate it. Then start with the is equal sign. We have said that the covariance is given by this. What we have simply done, divide by the sample size. So it is this one, divide by the sample size, which is 10. Then click enter. That is our covariance. So this is simply how you do a variance of two statistics of x and y. The covariance of the same, their standard deviation still using Excel. Thank you for attending today's class. I think that you have gained the knowledge. Welcome.